Witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie w kolejnym oknie na front. Tym razem widok roztacza nam się na krainę chorwacką. Tym razem zaglądamy do Zagrzebia, zaglądamy do Chorwacji, a tam od kilku lat rozwija się dynamicznie Instytut Ordo Iuris. Dotychczas pisały o tym raczej liberalne i lewicowe media. Dzisiaj chcielibyśmy podzielić się tymi osiągnięciami właśnie z Państwem, korzystając z tego dzisiejszego programu. So, to briefly introduce my guest, Vice Batarelo, President of Vigilare Foundation from Croatia.
Great to be here.
Good to see you today. And Filip Dekiciem, Executive Secretary of Ordo Iuris Foundation in Croatia.
Thank you for the invitation.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and it is a pleasure to speak to you in Warsaw, to have some meetings yesterday and today with our team. And I hope that it will be a very productive week for our cooperation and for the development of Ordo Iuris in Croatia, and also for the development of Ordo Iuris International, trying to protect life, family, freedom and sovereignty of our nations. But start from the historical point of view. It was 5 years ago that together with Vice we succeeded in funding Ordo Iuris in Croatia. I remember this notary deed we signed in Zagreb,
Yes.
But it was for a reason that we decided to do that together with Vigilare Foundation. Could you just briefly describe the achievements of Vigilare Foundation in Croatia to our friends?
Right. Well, again, Jerzy, thanks for the invitation. It's great to be back in Warsaw after, well, a few years.
It is.
But now in a different type of a manner. Now we're actually talking about very concrete actions that we're doing, that Ordo Iuris is doing. But what is the role of Vigilare? Well, Vigilare is one of the largest, the biggest conservative NGOs in Croatia. We have been around basically since around 2008. We very much watch out in regards to anti-Christian behavior or statements made by public personalities, by the media. We send petitions. That's how we started, with petitions. Then we became an association. Then we became a foundation. And as I said, we're one of the largest in the country. And we have a lot of court cases. I mean, before Ordo Iuris, we were already doing court cases. One of the most famous was one of our former presidents who made very derogatory remarks against Our Lady. And we took him to court. Some we win, some we don't win. But I think the important thing is that we are around and we're prepared to battle. I think that's important for our countries. And Poland and Croatia, however much we have a Catholic background, we know at the same time that 45 years our countries were under communism, and we know that the after effects are still lingering on, especially in the elites of our country. So the political, the financial, the academic, the media elites, they're either anti-Catholic or anti-Christian. A lot of them are not patriotic. And a lot of them are just they have this kind of a grayish cosmopolitan. And so what we're there is to try and maintain this, if you want, this Croatian and this Catholic fervor in society. So there are various, so we don't only do petitions, we're also involved in very concrete actions. One of the biggest is we're one of the coordinators of the March for Life in Zagreb, which happens every year. So we're involved, and we were very happy that we could, together with you, with Ordo Iuris, create Ordo Iuris Croatia 5 years ago. It's taken some time. We had some people there, but now we have this young gentleman, young lawyer, Mr. Filip Dekiciem, who has experience in a law office. But I would say even more important than that, he has a great love for these topics, especially pro-life. He comes from the pro-life movement. So we need to fight on the societal level in very concrete campaigns, but also in legal manners.
That was my impression. That whenever I read I speak about Croatian conservative movement, Vigilare is there. Vigilare is present there, as a co-organizer, inspirational background, back office of the event, the March for Life, the great conferences you held in Zagreb, the conservative conferences, so forth, also on the legislative issues, giving opinions, and also raising the Catholic awareness of the nation.
Yes. Very, very unapologetically. I mean, because a lot of people, sometimes a lot of Catholics are very shy and timid. They don't want to. I think we need to be what we are as Catholics, as Croats, as Poles, to be very proud of what we are and to really make our nations, to use a phrase, to make our nations great. But in that sense of, yes, we respect all people, but you know, this is my house, this is our homeland, and we want our homelands to be strong.
And we are bringing our identity strong again, this Catholic backbone of our societies. And one of the most important parts of this identity is a pro-life message that we have, both Vigilare and Ordo Iuris Croatia. And that's why I was so happy to hear that you are going into the Ordo Iuris Croatia from a very pro-life background and experience. Please just say a few words about this, about the pro-life activities you were already part of.
Yeah, as a student of law in Zagreb, I was a part of the team that initiated 40 Days for Life Croatia. That is a famous pro-life organization that comes from the US, and we were and we are, my friends who are still in 40 Days for Life Croatia are very successful. They're saving lives, and doctors, nurses are stopping to perform abortions. And also we were the part of the initiators, including with Vigilare and in the name of the family, initiators of the first March for Life in Zagreb in 2016. So I have this experience from the first line of the battleground. When you are praying in front of the hospitals, you see people, you come into contact with people who are offending you, even physically attacking you. So this is the way, this is a challenge, and this is the way you grow as a person, and you have some experience that is very useful, that you're not afraid anymore to come into some conflict with...
We often say to our young lawyers who are joining our team, students, that maybe the most important experience they may have is experience in pro-life movement, of protecting basic rights, of protecting basic human rights against all ties, against the hatred of the left. But be sure that you are protecting the fundamental premises of the Constitution, fundamental norms of the natural law. And there are some also issues with the March for Life that you mentioned today during our morning meeting.
Yeah.
And there's a case brought to court on that.
Yeah, our mayor of Zagreb, who is he is a neo-communist, and he's a part of the Green parties, and he banned the raising of the flags of the March for Life. He said that he doesn't support this event, even though when he was during the elections, he said that he will be a mayor of all the citizens. But when the organizers of March for Life, Vigilare, asked for the raising of the flags, he banned the raising of the flags. He said he doesn't support this, but few weeks after, he allowed the LGBT associations during the so-called Pride Month to raise their flags. So,
how typical to differentiate the rights of different groups.
Yes.
Yeah, and Ordo Iuris, actually law office in Zagreb, I know that they will watch this, so I want to say hello to them. I worked in that office and I learned a lot. And they, that law office, they filed a lawsuit because of the discrimination against organizers of March for Life. And we thought that Ordo Iuris provided legal aid. We published articles on our Ordo Iuris website. And we all thought, Vigilare, Ordo Iuris, lawyers from that law office, that we will win. But it was a very, very surprising, in negative way, surprising decisions. The judge decided that there was no discrimination. Of course, we filed appeal and said now it is on the court of the second instance, so we will see.
It's our experience in many, many cases that we fail in the first instance, second instance, then we go to the Supreme Court, the Constitutional Court, sometimes to Strasbourg. And it is this persistence, the stamina that we have to present in the cases like that, especially when confronting this liberal majority and liberal elites that, as I can understand, is pretty the same in Croatia and in Poland. We often perceive Croatia as a model Catholic country. And when I experience what you say, and when I read the decisions of the courts, like this one, obviously discriminating against Christians and Christian freedom of assembly, Christian freedom of speech, I'm shocked to see that something that I already know from Polish jurisprudence is happening there in the Catholic country.
Well, I would say to that, ditto. We also consider Poland to be this great Catholic country, and when we hear your cases, we're like, what's going on? And I think, as I said in the beginning, I think we're all former communist countries, and so the elites in the 1990s didn't just change. I mean, we didn't get new people. A lot of the elites are older people who have these they had first communists, and now they've turned coats and they've become liberal and they've become woke now. So yes, Croatia does have this problem, and I agree with what you also said. I think the key word here is persistence. We need to be persistent, and sometimes as Croats, as Catholics, we're not persistent. We shrug our shoulders, and I'm not sure if this is a Slavic thing. We have this almost kind of fatalistic, that's just the way it is. It's not the way it is. Things, and anyone who knows a little bit of sociology knows that things don't just happen in society. You have to move, like in chess, you have to move the little pieces. And so you have to think about things, you have to strategize, you have to be persistent, and that's what Vigilare does, and I'm sure, and the beginnings of Ordo Iuris are very much like this, and I say that Ordo Iuris is also doing this and will do this, and Ordo Iuris is here to stay in Croatia, and a lot of the leftist media, who will also be watching this video, by the way, but they know this, and the message that we are sending to them is that we have lawyers, we will have more lawyers, and we will have these international contacts, as we've already discussed. I mean, the whole Ordo Iuris network in Europe, the United States. We have friends all around the world, and I think what's happening is that conservatives more and more so around the world are getting networked. And so, things are not going to be so easy for the leftist woke as they think it will be. It will be a battle, and we will not retreat. We will not retreat.
In order to fight with the left, we need also to fill our ranks with professional fighters, ready to go into a professional field of combat, like the courts, the academia.
Yes.
With all those professional aspects of the modern warfare that we need to provide to our societies and nations. The day after tomorrow, we'll have a joint business breakfast with the representatives of the Heritage Foundation. Just the day after tomorrow, Weronika Przebiera from Center of International Law, who is strongly cooperating with Ordo Iuris Croatia, will be representing us both our organizations in Brussels during meetings with the members of the European Parliament and Matthias Corvinus Collegium from Hungary. So we are doing this network, we are preparing this network of organizations led by Ordo Iuris Croatia, led by Ordo Iuris in Poland, in order to provide this international backbone of professionals ready to fight and ready to go arm by arm to oppose the revolution.
Because the revolution does that as well. The revolution is very international, and it's quite interesting when the leftist portals and papers, they attack Vigilare or Ordo Iuris. Oh, you're in contact with Ordo Iuris Poland, and well, yes. I mean, we live in an open democratic society, and it's interesting when you do that. That's okay. That's democratic. But when we do it, oh, that's dangerous. So it's interesting the narrative which they try and create. But I would say it's probably a similar situation. When you said Croatia is basically a Catholic country, the majority of people are Catholic. And this is what we want to work with the silent majority. Because when the silent majority talks, then we are the majority. So that's what we have to do, as you said, with academia, with media, with we who are in the leadership positions. We need to awaken our countries, just as our countries were awoken in the 19th century. I mean, during those great movements which were evident then, I think we have this great responsibility upon our shoulders, and we do walk on the shoulders of greats, but we need to reactivate that today, because communism was this very grey type of society which killed the spirit of people. And the fighting spirit, and the Poles and the Croats have very much this fighting spirit. We both have the title from the popes of the Antimurale Christianitatis, the bulwark, the fortresses of Europe, of Christendom. And this is what we are awakening. If you look at the Croatian coat of arms, which is that checkered board. I know millions of Poles come to Croatia. When you see that checkered board, that actually comes from the defense walls of Croatia against the Turks. So we have this fighting spirit, and this is what we're saying to Croats. You have this fighting spirit. Stand up, and not everything is finished. And I think that's our
And
impetus.
you're already doing a lot in this mission of waking up this sleeping giant of Catholic Christian patriots in Croatia, and already some actions and projects are in process by Ordo Iuris. I remember the one on Christian and Homeland. It is the name.
Yeah, that was a campaign for Christ and Homeland. Ordo Iuris Croatia took over that petition from Vigilare.
It's basically about freedom of speech, about freedom of religion.
Yeah. It was originally that was a Vigilare petition. It was called "Stop the Homo Adoption," because some courts, Constitutional Court of the Republic of Croatia and High Administrative Court of the Republic of Croatia allowed same-sex couples to adopt and foster the children.
So without legislative procedure, without democratic consent, they decided to introduce the revolutionary means of undermining family by giving children to homosexual couples.
Yeah, it's very, very weird and catastrophic situation, because our laws, family law and Act on fostering, they don't allow a same-sex couple to adopt or foster the children.
I remember your huge referendum on marriage, expressing the popular support for marriage defined as a union of a man and a woman.
In our constitution, yeah. So. Constitutional Court took over the role of the legislative body, but Constitutional Court is a protector of this separation of government between legislative, executive, and judicial. But people who are judges in the Constitutional Court are political
former politicians.
yeah, and they are installed there from the main two parties in our
And now I understand they limit the possibility to criticize their decision by the people.
Yeah. They said that they didn't declare that act on fostering is unconstitutional, but they said that it discriminates same-sex couples, and that institutions must allow same-sex couples to foster the children.
What happened with the petition of Vigilare, and what's going on now?
Yeah, Vigilare decided to make the petition, stop home adoption, and one of the LGBT associations called Rainbow Families, or on Croatian Dugin obitelji. Of course, they have a lot of money from state funds and from funds international, from US, from Europe. They have a lot of money, so they can file lawsuits, and they file lawsuits against the Vigilare, and our Ordo Iuris gave a legal aid law office that works with that is a legal team formed by Ordo Iuris, also gave legal aid, and unfortunately court decided that was a discrimination against LGBT people and the groups, and so they banned the petition.
So the petition is banned.
Yeah.
There's no option to criticize the decisions of the Constitutional Court that were issued without any democratic approval.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You got it right, yeah.
So no voice of the people. So the people have no right to sign a petition anymore. You're not allowed to...
They're not asked about the law.
No.
Then when they criticize the decision, they are not allowed to criticize the decision.
Yep.
Now I see that it's a mission for Ordo Iuris.
Yeah, and we took over the petition. We called it For Christ and Homeland, and we wrote a legal analysis of decision of the Constitutional Court, High Administrative Court. We put some scientific research, which shows that how much damage kids suffer when they are raised in same-sex from same-sex parents.
Oh, we know the research by Mark Ragnerus from the United States.
We put his research, short notes from his research, and also we drafted the declaration on the best interests of the child, and we collected around 30,000 signatures, and
we handed that to the government.
Vigilare and Ordo Iuris jointly handed over to the government, and
what was the reaction?
There is no answer still.
We asked, there should be a procedure, so we handed this officially over to the government house and whatever. We've had no reaction from this so-called conservative government, which is actually quite a liberal government, because they're all very scared of this topic. Meanwhile, we have the family being deconstructed, destroyed basically, and the government just pretending that this is not happening. But we will continue on with this, and this is what we're saying. We will be persistent in these things. And now this Rainbow group has now taken Ordo Iuris to court, has filed a court case, and so we're up for another fight. So
yeah, they filed a lawsuit because of that petition, that is continuation of the Vigilare's petition against Ordo Iuris. And that was a month ago, and we filed a answer to their lawsuit.
Like you're far more into censorship regulations that we are here in Poland.
Yes,
it's unthinkable in Poland to have an NGO, Christian NGO, human rights NGO, raising an issue in the public debate, even in a very shocking manner, trying to shock the public opinion, to point out all the arguments that arise from the philosophical point of view,
Yes.
theological point of view, legal point of view, human rights point of view, and then banned from participation in the public debate by legal action of their opponents in the court without any level of participation in free media market, in democratic procedures and so on. It sounds terrible, and we will do whatever we can to support those actions.
I think in Croatia we need to stop this judicial activism, which is now increasing. I think we need to go back to the rule of law. This legislation which we use, the anti-discrimination, there is an article in there which states that, you know, if we say something because of our religious expressions, then that is not considered discrimination. Now, we operated here as Catholics. As Catholics, we have a right to say we disagree with this type of system, which you are trying to force down our society, and as Catholics we have a right. So we're talking about freedom of expression. We have a danger of losing the freedom of expression and the freedom of religion, if you will. So these are very, very dangerous precedents which are taking place now.
Absolutely.
So
just 3 months ago we finished a case in a labor court in Kraków in Poland with an employee of IKEA shop who was fired from his job after he quoted Bible in response to an article submitted by his employee.
Everybody knows about that case in Croatia.
And in this article, IKEA suggested that each and every employee of the company should be more inclusive about homosexual couples, should be affirmative. Not neutral, but affirmative about homosexuality when he or she speaks to clients. And he opposed by quoting Bible.
Yes.
After a few years, we won the case. He was reinstated in his place of work. But with law and jurisprudence similar to the Croatian one that is being born now, as I understand, it won't be possible. His basic freedoms will be annihilated.
Yes.
So it is up time to oppose to a development of this kind of a legal doctrine.
Oppose, develop a legal doctrine, and also have the help of friends, you know, from outside of Croatia, just to, you know, again, as I say, reinstate the rule of law and stop this judicial activism which is happening. So.
That's it. And other actions of Ordo Iuris, there are so many of them, but just bring another one to present to our friends and supporters.
Sorry, I just wanted to tell about one example about who are judges. Vigilare had another petition, Stop Homo Propaganda, on our national television. Because our national television showed the documentary film Jana's Rainbow Families. It was about a girl who was raised by her mother and her female partner. And of course, Rainbow Families from Croatia sued Vigilare. Ordo Iuris lawyers helped. And first decision was that there was discrimination against that LGBT individuals by Vigilare, but after the decision we decided to investigate the background of the judge, and we found out that she was the assistant of the minister of the justice before she was judge, and she participated in the pride.
So she was personally involved. Yes. In her free time.
Yes.
As an assistant, and also as in her private time, she was activist. There was a Pride Month, I don't know, in Netherlands or somewhere, and she in her private times she was there. And so we submitted this to the court, to the higher court, and of course they decided that she wasn't impartial, and the case was again returned to the first instance court.
That's exactly why we need lawyers sometimes. to get into the case, sometimes from the very formal point of view, to make it possible to get to the court with the case again.
And also one thing, a lot of judges are children of the communists, or they are communist-like minded. So that is a very huge problem in our.
And this is also connected with another question I wanted to ask you. But maybe let's deal with this now. There are some important issues, historical issues, that should be addressed as part of a sovereignty and national identity issues that are protected by our constitutions, by the human rights system, and that were not addressed as far by any Croatian organizations or any Croatian governments, meaning the trespasses in 90s, the genocide in 90s, the war crimes, and also some other historical issues. We are very close to those issues as since 2000, 2001 in Poland. We are developing not only historical studies, but also legal actions or on our historical remembrance. We are once again bringing to light cases of soldiers who were fighting communist regime in 40s, in 50s, up to 1962. And once they were cursed soldiers, as they were called by the communists, and now they are heroes of the young generation. And then I realized that nothing similar happened in Croatia. Many of those who were heroes are not presented as heroes today.
But if I can say that there are two in regards to the, if you want to place it as, you know, these homeland patriotic type of elements. After 1945, there were various estimates. 200,000-300,000 Croats were killed by the communists.
Exactly.
After the war. So after the cessation of hostilities, they were killed by Tito's communists. And a lot of these people were just thrown in trenches, in wells, and so forth. And so we need to give these people a dignified death, if you will, without the ideological elements. I mean, you know, these people deserve
just to bury them with dignity.
Exactly, and for justice, so that their loved ones know where they were. So that's one very, very big topic, which is almost a taboo topic still in Croatia. A lot of the governments have just, you know, gone over this. I mean, they've given lip service, but they haven't really done too much. Another thing which is much closer to us now is the independence war, which we had in 1991. You know, a lot of atrocities were committed by the Serb communists who attacked Croatia in this war of aggression. And a lot of these officers got away scot-free. So they're living in Serbia or other parts of the world. And now there are some campaigns, there's some organizations, and Ordo Iuris plans to also get very much into this, that we bring these people to justice. As you know, war crimes have no statutory limits. So this is something, again, this is very important. These things are very important for our societies it's a matter of justice. And second of all, that we bring peace to our countries. How can we have peace if people were killed innocently and the perpetrators were never brought to court? I mean, you know, there are people walking around, for example, in Vukovar, which is an eastern Croatian city, you know, who raped and killed and pillaged, and, you know, somehow are still walking around freely.
And I heard about this single war criminal who was even sentenced in Croatia and then granted some status by Biden administration in the United States.
Well, some administration, yes.
Yeah, it was Bush administration, I think.
Yes.
It was 2000.
Well, he lied, because he lied. He went to America, but he lied that he wasn't a part of the Serb paramilitary forces.
And in fact, he was sentenced
in
as a war criminal.
Yes, in Croatia.
In Croatia for 20 years of prison. And
what can be done about it?
our Ministry of Justice was that is what they said to us, Ordo Iuris, that they were in talking with the State Department in the U.S. About extradition of that war criminal, but that talk it lasted for more than 20 years. So I don't know what actually they were doing to get that criminal to Croatia to serve his punishment here. And only last year he was arrested because he lied to the American Immigration Service, and at the beginning of this year he admitted that he lied, and in May his sentence will be pronounced. And of course we're still pressuring our Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to see what can be done after he serves the sentence in U.S. because he broke their laws, to extradite him because Croatia and U.S. have a agreement on extradition, and to extradite him to Croatia to serve his punishment here. And
what was the crime?
He committed war crimes against a lot of people. He killed a lot of people in one small town in Croatia, but one crime.
I think you can name him. I mean, publicly.
Jugoslavidic is the name of this war criminal, and one crime, one murder is very. He cut the arm of one citizen of Petrinja. That is that small town. The name of that person was Stjepan Komes. His daughter-in-law is now mayor of Petrinja. And he cut the arm, Jugoslavidic cut the arm of poor Mr. Komes because he, a few days before, he shook hands with our first president, Franjo Tuđman, when he visited the Petrinja during the war. It
so
was
this kind of a terrorist threatening crime to cut off arms of people who touch the president.
Only animals do that, because he saw on the television that he shake hands, and he was Ustasha because he shake hands, and the Serbs called our president Ustasha, and
this guy is somehow protected now, or by the U.S. administration, or by the passive
inept
position of the Croatian government.
If it wasn't for Ordo Iuris was sending the letters to the ministry. What are you guys doing in regards to this?
We were calling, sending emails, sending letters, and we were putting real pressure. And I want to say that one important thing and that is a huge problem, because our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our diplomatic institutions, that is my opinion and the opinion of a lot of people, they are not doing enough to promote our country and the truth about homeland independence war. And on the other side, Serbian ministries of foreign affairs and diplomatic institutions, they are doing a lot to present that war as a civil war. So, and that is
so to present it as a balanced position of two sides of the same story. Yes, I see. One of the important missions of Ordo Iuris is to prepare a new generation of lawyers, a new generation of professionals that will be much more ready, apt to provide this protection to the national dignity, national identity, also international level. Are you doing already something to attract students, to attract young lawyers to cooperate with Ordo Iuris?
We have one legal trainee in Hungary who is very motivated to help. He even said that his motivation to become a lawyer was Ordo Iuris work in Croatia, and of course also in Poland. And there is one law student who helped us when we need some documents that can only be found on the Faculty of Law. She helped a lot. So I think that as Ordo Iuris Croatia will become more and more known, that young people will also join, because it is a very, very important fight for some higher cause, for the protection of life from the beginning to the natural death, and protection of freedom of speech, expression, some patriotic values, and family based on the marriage between man and woman.
We will be happy to accept some of them as interns in Warsaw as well, to share our experience and to just facilitate this cooperation of Polish-Croatian lawyers. It would be great to work with them as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure to speak. It is a pleasure to have you here in Warsaw. It is a pleasure to see that this development of Ordo Iuris Croatia together with Vigilare is possible, and the next years probably will witness growth of our activity there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dziękuję Państwu bardzo. Bardzo się cieszę, że mogliśmy porozmawiać z naszymi gośćmi i mam nadzieję, że to jest tylko zapowiedź tego, co jeszcze usłyszymy z Chorwacji. Czas na to, żeby odbudowywać wiarę w obronę życia, rodziny, wolności i suwerenności w całej Europie. Dziękuję bardzo.